So I went out and bought what was it, bananas?
Oh, Lord.
And condoms.
As y'all can tell, these episodes are not scripted.
At all.
What?
Yes, it is very hard when the father is just not at all in their life. But
Will you go on record and say that was a mistake?
there's nothing that he can't tell me that I'm not, that I'm not aware of.
So there's something that he can't tell you. What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of She Say, He Say, the podcast. Man, we got a good episode for y'all today. We are talking about single parents. I'm not a parent, so I can't really talk about that. So, I'm going to give my opinion, obviously. But I'm here with my sister, who is a single parent. So, Brandy, she's going to take it away for y'all. But yeah, Brandy Banks here.
Hey, guys.
But first, before we get into it, y'all do us a big favor, man. Y'all like, subscribe, send this to y'all friends. Give us that help to help us out a lot. We also have here my nephew, her son, Christian Banks is here.
Whoop, whoop.
What's up?
He's a man of very few words, y'all.
Very
so y'all
few.
gonna have to bear with us a little bit. But yeah, Brandy felt strongly about this episode, man. Whenever she feels, it's her thing. So when she feels strongly about it, we got to do it. So hey, what you got for us?
So as a single parent, I don't know if this happens to everybody, but a lot of people decide that they want to criticize single parents. And I just wanted to kind of talk on that because, parenting does not come with a handbook. It never has. It never will. And a lot of people, you're excited about having a child, and sometimes you don't get the child that you want. You have to parent the child that you have. So it can be difficult. It can be easy. I have one of my sons here today, which I'm excited to have him on the podcast. But, he was my easy child. The second one, a little rougher. He a little tough. But I get it. He is me 100%. So, we're working with that.
When you say people you said people like want to tell you what to do? Is what you're saying?
They criticize what you do, how you parent, how you do things with your kids. So, for instance, I think, have a very, first of all, I was a teenage mom. So I had Christian at 19. Mm-hmm. So I was young. Really didn't have a plan, really didn't have anything like that. Kind of working through everything. But he was an easier child for me, right? But we're very close. So there's nothing that he can't tell me that I'm not aware of.
Wait a minute, Christian, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like I tell her everything that goes on. Not everything, but...
So there's something that he can't tell you.
I mean, and I wouldn't want him to. First of all, he's the opposite sex, so I got to give him that, right?
I was just making sure.
I mean, if it was a girl, I would expect to know everything. If with guys, it's very, difficult. Sometimes I have to... call on you or call on dad or somebody else because I don't know what to do in those situations. But I think that's also a great way to parent. I know I can't handle it. Mm-hmm. I know there's some things about him that I can't touch. You delegate. Exactly. So it's like, all right, I need somebody to help me out here because I don't know what to tell him. The woman in me knows what to say. But
we all know about women.
Here we go. Here we go.
I ain't gonna do that.
So at the end of the day, with them, I try to keep an open,
open door policy.
Yeah, and we listen to kind of the same stuff. With him, I was I was tough on him when it came to school and stuff like that. I was very hard on him, but I was young, right? Mm-hmm. So I was very hard on him when it came down to school and respect and things like that. But, we listen to the same kind of music sometimes. Sometimes. His music can get a little rough. But
my question is, you said, I was very hard on him. So are you not hard on the second one?
No.
Well, thanks. I think with the second one...
Now, I'm not criticizing, but let's speak on it.
I mean... No, he's the baby, and I have coddled him a little too much. And now I am reaping what I have sown. And, trying to break him out of certain things has been tough. It has been very tough.
All right, so now when you say people criticize, if they criticize on something that is correct? Do you take that differently than when, like, you criticize, you don't even know what you're talking about, bro? Step off. Or if you criticize and that's what's actually happening.
I mean, yeah, but it also gets tiresome. Like, I know what I need to do. Sometimes I don't know which way to go. It's sometimes that other people don't know. But to tell me, you should be doing it this way. Well, why? And you don't have a real reason, right? So I look at it, and let's be clear. This one is in college. He's doing amazing. Plays football, respectful, has a very great future in front of him. And it took a village to raise him. It wasn't just me. I mean, again, I was a teenage mom. So, my parents were in it. Our parents were in it. Y'all were in it.
So, all right, so now I have another question. Like you said, it took a village. And one of the things I am most proud of you is that you literally came from the bottom. And now where you are now, it should be applauded. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, we didn't have as much contact with the second one. The village didn't have as much contact with the second one as we did with the first
because
one.
the first
Do you think
one,
that affected?
Absolutely. The first one, I mean, we were with him, with Christian, we lived in the same house majority of the time. Christian was there a lot more. The second one, I was married, right? So,
Right.
I was in a relationship. I was older, and I was doing it on my own. I had my own place.
How old was he when you got married? How old was Dallas when you got married?
Dallas it was 2011.
He was born.
So like 3 or 4.
He was that young?
Yeah, he was a little boy. Because the ex he was 1.
Okay.
So we dated for 3 years and then got married. So yeah, he was 4. Mm-hmm. So he's very small. And then my ex pretty much raised him. Like, he was the one who was structured.
So that was the mistake. No, I'm joking.
No, I will say, because he was he was on Dallas, like, hard. He disciplined him. And I think that's another thing. Like, that's the part that I do miss in a partnership, is the fact that, I was mom. I could be mom. I didn't have to be the disciplinary. I didn't have to be the one to do all of that. Whereas
Let's
he
tell the
did.
truth to our viewers. You could still be mom. You got 3 brothers and a father that tried to help you in that aspect.
I get all of that, but I'm just saying
But
at the
what
time.
didn't you allow us to do? I look at it like this. You got boys, it's a what you call it? It's the pride lands. You got to pride the lions, man. You got to let it happen. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get bumps and bruises, but you got to throw them to the lions, and we're gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
But I think
we're gonna sharpen them up.
Yeah, but I think with Dallas being the youngest, and then Dallas having all of the medical issues that we had, because for all those that don't know, Dallas was a twin, and I lost his brother in the midst of everything. They were fraternal. So at the end of the day, I think that also played a part, because I wanted to protect him. I wanted to keep him. Now I'm dealing with the aftermath.
So will you go on record and say that was a mistake?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, there you go, guys. Women, everybody want to coddle your kids. That's a mistake. Don't coddle them. You got to throw them out there because they got to learn.
Yeah, love them, but don't, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Bernie Mac, so you ain't going to get no sympathy from me. They got to learn. You know what I'm saying? But I want to get a little bit of Christian's opinion. And do you think watching, you grew up, because he pretty much grew up with everybody.
He grew up with us.
the village.
He grew up with, we grew up together.
Like, he don't even call me uncle.
No.
He calls me by my, like, I look at him like a brother.
Sometimes I do too.
So
Sorry.
So what I'm saying is, you grew up with us, and looking at how your brother grew up, do you think that, what differences do you see in how you grew up and how he grew up?
Growing up and, well, not in, but with you guys, it was a lot of, come on, like, we got to get our stuff together. There wasn't no tomorrow or we're just going to leave you be. You'll get it together. It wasn't, everything was, all right, it got to be done now. If it got to be fixed, if it got to be learned, it was somebody that was always, all right, I got time to do today.
Right.
With Dallas, it was, I wouldn't say nobody was there, but it was less people.
Yeah.
And people was busy. Like my mom was working. She
Yeah.
was not out in the streets, but she was out working, getting things done. I was in school, and
Yeah, because I remember it was one time. I mean, you was close, but you was like, "Hey, can y'all come get Dallas? Can y'all come get when you left? When it wasn't like that village or whatever." So I feel like that, of course, played a part because, like he said, when he was there, it was basically what you were saying. It was accountability. Like it was like, nah, somebody here. You supposed to be doing this. Whether it was mom, whether it was dad, whether it was me, somebody was there and was like, this is what you need to get done. Because it was basically, excuse my language, but shit rolls downhill. You know what I'm saying? So if mom was tasked with getting his homework done, mom couldn't do it. So she gonna be like, yo, he need to get his homework done. So now that's why I look at him as a little brother, because it wasn't like, oh yeah, that's your nephew, tell your sister to do it. If you was at work, he was there, this need to be done.
Right.
All right, so next in line, you on homework duty, homie. So that's how that was, I felt like. So I feel like it was the accountability part that he grew up with that maybe Dallas didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think also, like, growing up, because I watched mom go through the same thing with, our youngest brother. You get tired, right? So you get older, you get tired. And I know you can't ever relax as a parent, like, ever. He's 22, I still can't relax, right? So at the end of the day, I think with Dallas, it's like I get a little tired with him. But there are things that, when we talk about criticism and we talk about these kids, I have heard and seen, mothers who were teenage moms, and people were like, why, she's teaching him this, or she's out there doing this, or whatever. And I look at these kids, and they're healthy kids, they're eating, they got food, they got clothes on their back, shoes on their feet, whatever. And we want to judge them by their lifestyle. Well, you got to remember, they don't know the rules of this, right? They don't know. There's no plan. They're young. So at 21, I can drink, I can go to the club, I can do this, I can do that. I am grateful that I had a village, because I did all of that. And I was a teenage mom. So there were times where Christian was left at the house, and it was like, every weekend, every other weekend, you know what I mean? Like, he stayed at y'all's house majority of his young life.
Yeah.
Until I got on my feet. But we don't, and I tell people all the time, and sometimes, especially when you don't have the father there, it is very hard when the father is just not at all in their life.
All right, so now my question is, because there are people, I'm not going to say I criticize, but I believe that we are right now, it's a lot of kids raising kids. And a lot of kids want to be their kids' friends. And I'm not going to say that that's right or wrong, but I feel like there needs to be some type of line to be drawn.
Well, you got to remember, it's a cycle. So if grandma is 30, mommy is 20, and the baby is 5, there's a cycle right there. Everybody is young when these kids are out there.
Yeah, but like right now,
we got to stop that. We have to stop where our teenagers and our babies are having these babies.
But they have them. We can't, we want to stop it, but we can't.
Yeah, so now you have them, and, and it's sad to say, because I have seen where the mother of the mother, she's single and by herself. Now you got the mother who's single by herself. So the grandmother is feeding the negativity of, he ain't this and he ain't that. So don't worry about it. You ain't, all you got to do is stay with me and blah, blah, blah. We got to come out of that. We got to get to a place where everybody's supported. Now, I didn't have, and you can attest to this. When my kids were little, I didn't talk about their father. I did not. I had no negative anything to say when they were younger. As he got older, I started telling him the truth, because I wanted them to see this is not a man, right? this situation right here is not ideal. You need to be better than this. You don't walk away from responsibility. You do not turn your back on your child. You make sure that you take care of them. I made sure of that. Agree?
Yep.
And when he saw it as his own, he made his own opinion about it. But the only way I couldn't sugarcoat that any longer. I can't make out, because I did. I used to take him to go see his father. His father never came to see us. His father never came to pick him up. Mm-hmm. I took him because I felt like family is you need to know where you come from. Mm-hmm. And I wanted him to be a part of both sides of his family. Now, at the point that wasn't good enough, we done. I was not going to keep putting him in that situation to where he would feel left out or ostracized or whatever, excluded, because he had other kids. And those other kids got to see him, but for some reason, him and Christian just never really connected. And it was probably because of me, because I didn't take no crap. Mm-hmm. You know, you either going to do this or do that. You can't come and sweet talk me out of it. That ain't going to work. So a lot of that was me and him. But at the end of the day, when he said he had enough, I stopped. Because that's who I care about.
Christian said he had enough.
He had enough. He didn't want to go back over there. He didn't want to go over there. Now, I never left him because I just didn't like the lifestyle that his father used to lead. However, when he said he had enough of of chasing him, I was done with it. When Christian realized, like, okay, you know what? I'm out. I don't want no parts in this.
But do you feel like, Christian, you were lacking anything, like by not having your, like, I want to say father, but I feel like we share the same father. So like you have
your biological.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like you were lacking anything without that?
To be honest, no, because I had great granddad, which is y'all granddad.
Nope, that's my dad.
No. Great granddad.
Oh, great granddad. I thought my bad. I thought you said a great granddad.
Oh, no.
My bad. All right.
Because I actually called him dad and then y'all father. So I had two father figures in my life since I was a kid all the way up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't nothing new. I didn't have to adjust. It was already there.
Yeah. I mean, I felt the same way. I felt like, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning, it wasn't like, because at first I felt bad. So I'm like, damn, like, I didn't know how to even approach it, especially when he got older and he understood, like, y'all, you have your biological father. I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, but I don't really feel bad because we share the same biological, like, no, we don't share the same biological father, but you get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, our father treated him as if he was basically one of his own. Right. So I feel like he got all of that. But, so
it's like, and for me, it was, you know, and even to this day, I have tried to, you know, because I don't know what that's like not to have a dad, but I know that there's a connection that's missing. And, you know, for him, it was like, I don't hate him, but I don't want no parts of it. And that's fine. It's okay. You know, if that's what makes him, you know, go, I would like to see that happen, but maybe it just ain't for him.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard stories that people never knew their biological father and have just been like, nah, I want to at least meet him. And they meet him and they realize, that's not for me.
Right. Now
and
he
they step
knows.
off.
Yeah, he
knows.
Right. And so, like, now I'm cool with it. I'm to a place, but I raised him the best way I knew how. Right. I raised him to the best of my ability. So, flaws and all, you know, I know that there are times where it's like, like, you let him I do. Half the time I like the stuff that he listened to. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that he respects women. I like the fact that he, you know, will come in and make sure, because right now that's who he is. He's the man of the house. Mm-hmm. I have to give him that. You know, it's times that he's jumped on Dallas and it's like, I'm out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've always had respect for my kids. I've always shown them respect. I didn't have to go through phones and none of that stuff. I think that when you raised a child to a place where I trust them. I trust him. There's only one time that I know, and I just found that out like 10 years later, that he's lied to me. One time that I know of. And he just admitted it 10 years later.
That's about the time frame you can
exactly. So he got, you know what I'm saying? Is what is that?
Can we know the lie? No?
I have no idea what the lie was, but I swear I was like, you know, if you tell me the truth, I ain't gonna take your game. He would not say nothing. I took the game.
But it was something petty, it's something little, right?
It was little. It wasn't nothing crazy, but
it was a lie, and I ain't played a lie.
Oh, all right.
So 10 years later, he's like, I really did lie about that. But
what did he lie about? I want to know what he lied about.
I have no clue to this day. But I do know that it was only one time that my child has like lied to me.
That you know of.
That I know of.
Okay.
So even when the fact and the thing that I like about it, again, I get criticism for it sometimes, and I know that some other parents get criticism, is the fact that, you know, I'm not as strict as our parents were. I didn't have to spank him much, but we all know like he was a good kid. Like he didn't cause for too much. But I didn't have to spank him too much. Yes, I believe in spankings. I didn't have to do all of that with him. I could yell at him and he would cry when he was little. So that was enough.
Like that, cuz.
Yeah, you were little. You were little. I ain't saying you do it now, but it was just he was just. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. I knew that I wanted him to be better than his father. I knew that I wanted him to be better than me. So I wanted to put him in positions that would come to fruition.
So getting back to the topic, not that we got too far off topic because I think everything made sense, but getting back to what we first started talking about, what do you say to the people who want to criticize the single parent? Because I don't think all the time it comes from a bad place. I think because like you said, is if the girl is 19, the girl is 20, the kid is 5, that ain't right. That math ain't right. But if she's a young parent, she don't even know how to live yet. She don't even know.
Exactly.
So it's not all the time that it comes from a bad place. Like, I had things that I wanted to say sometimes to you, but I'm like, I ain't no parent. But a parent speaking to another parent that's a child.
But I think we also have to remember, because a lot of times the way that you present that,
I agree 100%.
That's where it is.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
And I feel like at the end of the day, when you're criticizing these young women, you have to remember, like, there's a lot that goes through that. I went through a period where for years I felt guilty that Christian didn't have this biological father. And so he was spoiled. I mean, spoiled rotten. Had every Jordan, every piece of clothing.
And I think that was one of the times where
as a toddler.
Boy?
When I get older.
The prices went up. They started coming a little less and less, but you still got it though. So,
but I feel like that was one of the things that I criticized, and I mean, I ain't gonna say I ain't had no place, but as your brother, I feel like I can say what I want to say. But I felt like, bruh, you coddling this kid. It's a young black man. You can't do that. Like you might not like the situation that you put him in, or what like the cause that he was dealt. But if you try to like apologize with treating him a certain way, you really handicapping him.
But it's funny because, and I get that, and we kind of backed off of that. But it's times that I will ask them, and I don't know, because parents to me sometimes take it way too far. Where it's like, you know, I'm the parent, you the child, you do what I say. I don't like that. I don't like that mentality.
Nah, until a certain age, I feel like
yeah,
that's necessary.
But I would always ask them, like, hey guys, like, you know, what do y'all think of your childhood? What do you think of your life?
They don't know yet.
No, but I want them, like, we had great childhoods. We didn't know that then. But I look back on my life and it's like, dang, even if it was a trip to Rehoboth for one day, Mom then made that an experience for us. I don't know if you were old enough to remember that. But they made an experience for us. I want to know, like, hey, like, Because do I not? I ask them often, like, how was your childhood? What do you think about your childhood? Or what do you think that I could have did better to connect with you or whatever? Like, I want to know those things.
But you asking in the past, like it's over.
No, because he's still, I mean, even now, what do you need from me to make your life better?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I was asking in the present.
What you saying? Like $500? That would make his life better.
Yeah, right.
I don't really say anything. I feel like my childhood was good. No complaints. It was a little rough in the beginning, but
I ain't gonna lie. The beginning was rough, boy. The beginning was rough.
But I wouldn't change anything. Like I wouldn't ask, I wish you could have did this or nothing.
Yeah, I knew one day I woke up, me and Mo, we woke up. It was like probably like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Mo was our other brother.
Christian was like probably like 3 or 4 years old.
No,
Maybe.
he was not.
Yes, he was, bro. The man was like 3 or 4 years old. Your man was downstairs at the kitchen table with a bowl of cereal, and your man had the news on. I was like, yeah, he going through some things, brother. There's a difference.
But understand, as a single parent, I had no other income but my own. I worked 3 jobs with Christian. 3. And I was constantly moving, so he had to grow up a little faster than others. He had to know how to make cereal because I was tired. So if I came in at 12 o'clock at night, I got to be right back up to go to the first job. Then I'm working again till 12 o'clock because, I worked at a law firm. I worked for a casino company. And then I also worked as a waitress. So it was a lot going on. And he needed to grow up. I had no other choice at that point.
I mean, I agree with you 100%.
So, and I think with Dallas, it's more of the spoiledness. It's more, he gets the already put together.
Yeah, he
doesn't know the struggle like Christian
right.
knows the struggle. Christian knows from us going from our house to the little apartment to the townhouse. Like Christian knows all of that. Mm. He even know a lot more that we going to the grave with, right? So, therefore, but I don't sugarcoat that. And people can judge my background, my life, or whatever. But I think that I went through all of that because now I can come to them firsthand knowing all the stuff that they've gone through, I have experienced pretty much. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that they've come to and was like, you ain't never did. Nope, I did that too.
Yeah. So
I think God allowed me to go through all of that stuff, and I thank God for coming out of it healthy, stronger than before, knowledgeable, so that I can pass that on to my kids. Because I remember when I was young, people used to be like, why you gotta hit your head up against the brick wall? It's there. Well, I had to hit it. Other people went around it. And I didn't trust you if you went around it. Because you can't tell me how to get out of it.
And I was thinking, we was at the house, and Dad had the ladies from the church over there. And we was talking, and they was like, what would you change about your childhood? And that was one of the things I said. I was like, because you look at how Dad and Mom grew up, and they grew up in a way that I was like, well, they ain't grew up in it wasn't like the hood or nothing like that, but they grew up a little different than we grew up. But they didn't necessarily pass that information along. Like they ain't passed. So a lot of the stuff that I had to learn, like as far as like street smarts and all of that, I had to learn on my own because they weren't necessarily like as open as I would like them to be about all of that stuff like in the streets.
And see, and I'm very open. I'll tell you how it's gonna look, how it's gonna feel.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so I had to hit. I ain't necessarily hit my head because they didn't tell me some things was there. But I wanted to know because I want to be that parent that, oh no, I did that.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. Now you probably gonna go do it, and then when you come back, like, oh yeah, you don't need to go drink too much, smoke this weed. You don't need to go do all that. But when you do it, and when you come back, I know how to. You know what I'm saying? I know how to handle that because I've been there, I've done that.
And this might embarrass him, but it was a time where when he got old enough, we needed to talk about sex. Mm-hmm. I had no clue what I was doing, nothing like that. So I went out and I talked to a couple of people, and they was like, "This is what you do. This, what you know." So one of the things was I was gung ho about making sure that my kid protect himself. So I went out and bought what was it, bananas?
Oh Lord.
And condoms. And we practiced and practiced and practiced till we got it right.
As y'all can tell, these episodes are not scripted
At all.
What?
Yes, I went out and bought them, and if he broke one, that was chlamydia. He broke another one, that was gonorrhea. He broke another one, that was AIDS. When he got it right, he was safe. Because I didn't want the streets.
The hardest part is figuring out which way it rolls out, right?
Yeah, well, we figured that out.
And then the other threat was, if you don't get it, your thing gonna fall off.
Of which,
lying to that man.
No, of which our youngest brother was like, "What?" And a grown man. He's grown at the time. But I just wanted them to understand, like, I wanted him to understand that sex was not to be played with, that was an adult move, and that if he was going to go out there, he needed to be responsible and think like an adult. I mean, he had to.
He was thinking scared. He wasn't thinking as an adult.
I don't care, scared or not. I don't have no grandchildren right now.
That was Scared Straight before Scared Straight came out.
Well, you right about that. And I'll do it again if I have to. But it was things that I had to go out. I like I said, I went and talked to other people, right? It was books on the male body that I had to read, because you get a kid and it's like, I'm itching down there. Why? I got a piece of hair down there. Why? You got to be able to say that. And I didn't have the comfort of having a parent in the household with us.
So that was what I was saying. Like, I didn't get that talk. I learned that in school, or I learned that with my friends' parents. Like, I didn't learn that at home.
See, that's what I'm saying. And I didn't want that for them. I didn't want the streets to tell him something different. I didn't want the streets to give him, oh, yeah, you just do this. And they not tell him the other half of it. It's times that I'm like, you need to go talk to your grandfather, because I have no idea what to do with that. Like, I don't know what to do with that information. It's times I've sent him to you. It's times I've sent him to our baby brother. I mean, it's just, yes, I had to lean on a lot of people. And people don't realize, like, with me, his father was my first love. Call it crazy, whatever. He was my first love. When me and him didn't work out, that broke my heart. So at the end of the day, I was dealing with that too, of the heartbreak. I never really got in relationships, like solid relationships, because of that. And it was like 2 years ago when he called. I mean, I carried that in my heart, like was always angry about it and didn't trust. But 2 years ago, he called crying, his father, and was like, "I'm sorry. I thought you were something different. And now looking back, I was wrong," right? He thought that I was, cheating, because he was cheating, but cheating with friends, and, just, I was just this like cruddy girl, and I wasn't. I was always there to support him. So when he did that, that was a weight lifted off my shoulders. Like, that took a lot away from me. So moving forward, it's like, you don't know what these young girls are going through. Especially when they have these men who, all right, I got a baby by you, but I got another girl who just got pregnant. That hurts. Like, that hurts deep. Because here I am raising your child, you in and out, but now I got another baby over here. And it's like, dang, well, what happened with me? So now they trying to find themselves. It ain't that they bad parents. They don't know how to parent.
So that's what I'm saying. So I feel like it's a on both sides. The people who want to criticize got to be careful about how they say things and what they say.
Correct.
But I think we also have to raise youth or young parents to understand that I don't know everything, and I have to be open to learn these things.
Right.
Like, if Christian had a kid right now, he don't know everything. He don't know how to raise a kid. So he got to be open to hearing advice from other people how to raise his own child.
Right.
And I feel like right now in 2023 that's why I would love to give back, like, as far as athletics and all that, but I don't, because kids know everything now today.
Right, and they disrespectful.
And I don't have time for, like I said in past episodes, me right now, I need that peace. I need positivity. I can't go back. I'm gonna go nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like healthy. I gotta be healthy. So I can't deal with the kids in 2023.
But I think also, like, even I always tell them, I think I never had a girl. So if one of them were to bring me a granddaughter, I'll always be like, y'all won't see her because she'll be with me all the time. I tell y'all that. If y'all ever have a daughter, y'all won't see her. I can't raise your child. And a lot of parents are like, okay, it's better if I raise them. And then that child goes out and have another baby. And it's like, okay, because it was easy. She raised them. And I remember Mom telling me, she was like, listen, I helped you a lot with this one. You don't take care. If you're not there 100%, I'm calling CPS on your tail.
Yeah, she told me that.
You know what I'm saying? So she was like, I gave you a break. You were young. I get it. I helped you as much as I possibly could. But you got to be a parent. So this second child, that's all you. And I was older. You know what I mean? I was older. I was while I was working. So that's why I said Christian went through the struggle with me. Dallas didn't really have to struggle. Dallas had, he had me all to himself all the time.
So for people who your kids not going through the struggle, they got to go through the struggle. Mm-hmm. Like whether your life could be perfect, but the kids got to understand you can't have it your way all the time.
Yeah, they got to earn their stuff. And I think that's where I messed up, especially with raising Dallas. Like, I gave them everything. I don't think there's a system y'all have never had. From the PS, what?
And that's crazy because I lived in a 2-parent household and we didn't have all the systems.
Hey, we had Nintendo. That was the best system.
We had Nintendo, but we didn't have all of them. Like, all of them as they came out, we didn't have all of those. So,
but they have had everyone, and then it got so bad, and I don't even know why. I'm telling on myself. But one had Xbox, one had PlayStation.
That's
so
ridiculous.
I was going up with
that's ridiculous.
2 different systems.
That's ridiculous.
But I don't know. And I feel like, and
wait, we fixed that now, right?
No.
So one still has Xbox and one still has PlayStation.
And
yes. And then we have an extra.
A random person who wants to come here has a PS5. Just waiting.
It's like an extra PS5.
Oh, we got extra.
Yeah.
We got extras. Oh, all right.
So yeah, it's like even with Mom and Dad, it's like, yeah, I wanted, they were like wanted to give us what they didn't have, so they gave us more than what they were planning to have. I think I did the same thing. I think I went overboard. It was like if I had the means, I did it.
I'm not gonna criticize.
Yeah. So now, I'm more so on, people are like, why you work 2 jobs? I don't technically need 2 jobs. But because we work for who we work for and having the benefits that we have, to me, I don't look at that as my kids get to fly and do whatever they want to do because they can just go to Miami and just hang loose. That's educational. They can go to all over this world and learn something new, right? Who can give them that? Not a lot of people can give your child a trip to Italy for $200. Right?
Hold on, you telling our secrets now. We can't be.
Well, you know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, and those things, even when I go, like, I said in past episodes, when I got a new job, I talk to them. Hey, guys, I got to go into work now. Like, are we cool with this? I need y'all to step it up, whatever. When I bought the house after the divorce, they had a part in it, right? I wanted a townhouse. He was mad because his bed ain't going to fit. So we ended up buying a single family because we needed a room for his bed. So at the end of the day, I always want them to feel a part of it. Like, they are my life, and they deserve that.
All right, so we're gonna try to close this out, but there's gonna be people that agree and there's gonna be people that disagree with you, right? Mm-hmm. That's normal. So, what do you say to the critics? And what do you say to the single parents who don't necessarily know it all?
For the single parents that don't necessarily know it all, be willing to have an open mind, listen, because a lot of them do have a lot of gems to share.
It might not come off the right way.
It may not come off the right way.
If you sift through it,
but
you can find a gem.
You can create those gems to the way you want them to be, right? I can implement it any way I want to.
Okay.
But I hear you.
Okay.
And I understand. for the critics who just because, I mean, walk a mile in my shoes, then you come talk to me.
But they did.
And they did it their way. But they did it for the children that they had. That Christian is a child of his own. Dallas is a child of his own. And like my mother always says, you got to parent the child that you got, not the child that you wanted.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, I have to do what I have to do, what is best for my child. One has ADHD. I don't like the pills. We're not on pills. People would say I'm crazy because it would possibly help him. But at the end of the day, I know what the side effects are, right? I know the headaches that he comes home with. So I'm a little tied with it. But at the end of the day, that's I can only parent the way I know how to parent. And the more research I do, then we'll, start looking at it. He's been on medication before and it has worked, but I refuse to sacrifice his health for that.
Right.
So at the end of the day, walk a mile in my shoes. But I think we did a very good job as a single parent. Would you think so?
You can tell the truth,
Yeah.
All right. I'm just making sure that space was open.
I feel like it's important to have the right people around you.
Yeah.
Like, not even just family, but like if you play sports, the coaches, if you in school, like just the friends you get. Because I feel like a lot of these kids are going, it's not the moms, it's just the people in the environment they're around.
Mm-hmm.
Like the social media, they listen to like NBA YoungBoy who's taking over.
Mm-hmm.
He can say some crazy things and people are like, why not? Like, that's how I'm going to treat my girlfriend. I'm going to do what he do.
And I feel like with the single parent, you don't get that. The people, they not on you like that. So you have the ability to listen to all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And nobody's like filtering what you're listening to.
And so for me, it was important for them to be around positive people, even with his friends. Dad says it best. Show me your friends, I show you your future. Mm-hmm. Right? So for me, it was, like even now, hey, Mom, I'm going out. I'm hanging out, whatever. Who you going out with? He'll say 3 names. Oh, okay, cool. I'm cool with that. He been hanging with them kids since high school. Mm. But they all have the same focus. They all had the same goal. So that right there, wasn't nobody trying to get in trouble because all of them were trying to play on Saturday. Mm-hmm. All of them had practice. All of them had, you know what I mean? They were all in school. So for me, that was another part of parenting that I had to be up on. He didn't just go out with any random person. Mm-hmm. And that's just it is what it is. So, you know what I mean? You
just got to put in the work. I feel like that's what we say. If you're a single parent, that's your situation.
And make them into your own.
Yeah. That's your situation. You're a single parent. And you got to put in the work and make sure you monitor your kids and make sure that they're into the right stuff. And take those gems, because sometimes they're not gems. Sometimes somebody shoot you some BS. But yeah, you got to filter that stuff and take the good with the bad.
And parent the child that you have, not the child that you want. Just because you were a basketball player and you want to go to the NBA doesn't mean your child wants to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
Listen to your kids, watch your kids, understand your kids, be there. I think
that's the biggest part, just be there.
Yeah.
Because the kids will tell you what they need and what they want. I'm not a parent, but I just feel like they will.
And they'll show you. They'll show you what they need and what they want.
Ain't that what I just said?
You said they'll tell you. I said they'll show you.
All right.
Because sometimes they don't know what they want, but they'll show you.
Can I get some more drink, please? I'm empty here. We ain't got nobody. All right, it's just me. All right. But yeah, I think that's good stuff. I think that's good stuff. So critics, walk a mile in my shoes before you tell me what to do with my kid. And parents,
just be nice.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Be a little sensitive because it's tough. It's very tough. And some days you want to quit, but you can't. So just be easy on them. That goes for mothers and fathers. Single mothers, single fathers.
I like it. Hey, you did good. Tell people to subscribe.
Subscribe, like. Send to your friends.
Hey, man, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. That help us out. Christian, close us out. What you got?
Close out, I say be there for your kids. Do the goods and bads. Never give up. And just love them.
Hey, that's good stuff, man.
Exactly.
That's good
and
stuff
on
right
the
there.
spot.
Yeah. So hey, I ain't gonna say nothing else. Y'all subscribe, man. We'll see y'all next
You
episode.
did good.